You spoke with Dan Shanahan for an independent piece, and he had a very interesting quote about, just playing GAA, and like I think it works the same for both codes whether you're talking football or hurling. But he said, I go up training with Lismore, and you can be after a bad day in the office or a bad day at work, and the next thing you go up to the field and run around and hit a few slitters and go the best you can for an hour and 15 minutes. You get your shower and you're a new man. It definitely is something that rings true, isn't it?
It definitely resonates, yeah. Like you've had bad days, I've had bad days. Whether it's going to the gym or whether it's going to the field, particularly going to the field, there's just something about the release you get. You always feel so much better leaving the place. Even just the physical contact, be it talking to people or actual physical contact, there's something that just leaves you come away feeling an awful lot better after.
There's group therapy in the sense that, it's a social release, you're meeting all your friends, having the crack. I'd say there's probably, the way you go to training and you're like, oh, I'm in for a dogging session tonight. There could be horrendous runs, or you're doing these drills where you're just constantly having to take lads on or tackle lads, and there's no place to hide, and it's horrific. Do you think because of that feeling afterwards, when everyone feels great after a training session, but you probably don't think about the fact that maybe that's why you overlook the fact that you're going to have to go through hell, and you're always just ready to go back, because without thinking about it, you're chasing that feeling of after training.
Yeah, it's true. Like I used to work as a PE teacher, and I often say to the kids, I try to explain to them what endorphins are and how you just feel so much better. Like,
yeah.
I remember that episode of Simpsons where Homer is like something, and it's like release some more endorphins. And it's like, but that's what
it always comes back to Simpsons.
That's what I used to always say to the kids, and they'd eventually like they come in maybe moping in or whatever, and they always left on a cloud, like they were flying.
Did they ever understand that? Like when you explained it to them afterwards, did it click?
Yeah, you'd kind of say endorphins and they might know, and then you said, I just say exercise makes you feel better. You always feel better after you've done a bit. The idea of going doing it maybe mightn't be particularly appetising, but the feeling after is always great. I remember chatting to Owen Larkin a couple of months after he'd retired with Kilkenny, and the one thing he missed the most was walking off the field in Nolan Park after a training game or a training session where he was drenched in sweat and knowing that he was after giving everything and all the lads around him were after giving everything, and just the feeling of like, sure, what else would you be doing? This feels great. I'm after emptying myself. I go home now, I'll be tired, but I'll be so happy and content.
I wonder, is this relatable? Do you ever come away from a training session and you have a few bruises on your arms or legs, whatever, and you're sort of half delighted with yourself because it's sort of a mark that you were out there getting stuck in?
Yeah, I know what you mean. What you mean. Yeah, those bruises where you touch them, where it's sore, but it's kind of that really nice pain. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
That comes across as weird, but I'd say there's got to be a lot of viewers out there who know what we're talking about. Geez, like the last year and a bit, I haven't played that much hurling, and then I've had a hamstring tendon injury there for the last several months, so I haven't been able to get stuck in or do a whole pile. But in the last week or two, I've been able to do a little bit. And I was saying to one of the lads the other night, I was able to sort of go around quarter pace and poke around and be in the drills, not the training matches or whatever. And I was just saying to him, geez, it's actually just class to be able to even do that much, get a bit of a sweat going, and yeah, just much better form after it.
There's nothing like it. I've been injured far too often, unfortunately, and there's no point in saying any different. When you're injured, unless you're mentally unbelievably strong, you just don't feel part of the setup. I've gone into training or walked down into training where you're almost like you wish you had a bag over your head. Genuinely, if you're injured, just like it's like everyone's looking at me. Why isn't this lad training? Oh, he's injured again or whatever.
But the reality is they couldn't care less.
No, they probably couldn't. It's all in your head. But when you're training, you're just on a cloud, like you're so happy. And that's why probably when you're injury free and that, you should never ever I'd never take it for granted anymore, because I've had that many different bits and pieces and you'd be so down about it. It's like your self-worth is almost judged by how you're playing or how you're training and the fact you're able to get through it. But yeah, you should never take for granted being able to train and being able to do anything. It's just because you feel so good after. Yeah, there's that release that it's incomparable, really.
And also just the whole release or relief, I should say, from any worries that people, like, because everyone's got their own life stuff, and we've interviewed people in GA circles who've had gambling addictions, alcoholism, whatever it might be, and they say, go out onto the field and I forget about everything. And I think that rings true for everyone, no matter what level you're at.
No, it does 100%. There's another good quote from Dan. He said, I really love it. And when I go training, this is either coaching or training himself, I give it everything. I give it everything I have for the hour and a half that I'm there. I'm still training away at the club and I love being on the field. It clears my head and takes the pressure off every way. He kind of said he didn't want to say it was therapy. I wouldn't say it's therapy for me. Everyone is different, but that works for me. You know, I say, and he said he works with Conor Oil down in Watford, and he'd be on the road a lot. It's a real busy time of the year, but he said no matter what, always make that time for it. Funnily enough, for during Lent, I just decided, like, maybe I wouldn't train every day, train most days. I just said I'm going to do at least 40 to 45 minutes every day, just because, I don't know, you just do feel better, and the earlier you do it, the better. Do you know that sensation of, you know, you have something to do, you know you have a session to do, and you're leaving it, and you end up leaving it to like 10 o'clock at night maybe or something like that, and it's hanging over you all day. Whereas if you can just get it done in the morning, or get it done as soon as you can, you're kind of, you know, the day is ahead of you then, you've nothing hanging over you. But it's great, like training and all things like that. I think some people, remember Conor McGregor saying years ago, it's like his medication, and that's a lot of people. It keeps them grounded, shall we say?
And some people, you know, they work so hard or they have so many commitments in their life. When else would you meet up with people?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time you're too tired. But if you force yourself out the door, you're interacting with probably to go to 30 people between mentors and teammates. So it is great.
And if you look at all like CEOs and really successful business men and women, they're nearly always exercising as well. They're nearly always doing something to, just off the top of my head, you know, Triple H, the wrestler.
Yeah.
He's like the COO of the WWE.
Well, he married in there now.
Well, he did, in fairness, yeah, he did.
McMahon.
Very smart.
Can't blame him.
I'd say he works about 12 to 14 hours a day. So he'd be getting up doing like 5 o'clock sessions in the morning. Basically, when no one else is awake, he'd have his bit done and then he'd go and do his work.
Wonder how many people he does the pedigree on per day.
You'd definitely be pedigreeing the kids at home, wouldn't you? In fairness.
Right, yes, that's it. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.